The Dead Pixel Society podcast is brought to you by Media Clip, Advertech Printing, and Independent Photo Imagers. Welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast, the photo imaging industry's leading news source. Here's your host, Gary Pageau.
Hello again, and welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. I'm your host, Gary Pageau. Today we're joined by, oh my gosh, have we got a show for you today? We've got Bob Kenward and Sheryl Bashore, who are the linchpins of the, I don't know what you want to call it, the Bob photography, sports, and events segment space, I guess. They're like the Ricky and Lucy of the volume photography space.
I love that.
I've never been called a linchpin before.
Yeah, or a Lucy. I love it. That's great. Bob, that's our new thing.
Maybe so.
Oh, Lucy and Ricky.
I'm not dressing up.
Well, you got some explaining to do. So anyway, Bob, for the people who aren't aware of what you do, really short, so I want to get right into it. Can you go really briefly into what your business is?
Sure.
The first time you were on.
Yeah, sure. Based in Central Virginia, 20 years in the business, mostly the last 10, but I have actually been in business for 20 years. I do volume sports photography, and I do 100% composite photography, and I do only sports. And when I say sports, it's mostly 99% stick and ball sports, what we call it. So baseball, softball, football, soccer, lacrosse, those things. And high schools, I do a couple of high schools and the sports associated with those. But yeah, that's me, all composite.
And Sheryl, you are the queen of dance.
I also do cheer and gymnastics, a lot of cheer and gymnastics.
Yeah. So a little bit about your business, where you are.
And I'm amazed because I'm younger than you, Bob, even if it's only a year or two, but I've been in business 35 years,
Wow.
which is crazy to me. But in the world of volume sports, which I started out in stick and ball and cheer probably 25 years, and then finally just kept going towards cheer, dance, and gymnastics. And the imagery just knocked my socks off and made me happy, and in the world of volume, and that's kind of where I went. So I gave up all the stick and ball. I leave it for Bob, and happily, and I concentrate on actually, I don't even want to call it girl stuff anymore. I concentrate on cheer, dance, and gymnastics, and that's all I do. And I love it.
And you've got really a specialty when it comes to the silhouette. That's sort of your thing.
Yeah. That's kind of what, I guess, catapulted me into this whole thing, was the silhouette. It changed everything for me, and thankfully changed it for a lot of people, because it gave a way to do something different that no one was doing, and capturing gorgeous imagery won the moms over, and it just kind of went from there. And that's how I started teaching. I started teaching that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so both of you are very active on the speaker circuit. You've been places, I've seen you in places, you're going to places, and that's great. But you've also been very active in sort of online discussions and things like that related to some of the pressing issues of the day, which is kind of what we wanted to talk about today. It was not going to talk about your business so much, talk about some of the issues that volume photographers are facing today. And I think one of the biggest ones is this whole hullabaloo around AI and copyright. As you know, there's people out there who are advertising on Facebook Marketplace or places like that saying, hey, I will take that ugly copyright watermark off your kid's picture for $15 or something. And then there's technology that's come out recently that hopefully offset that. So, Bob, can you kind of lay it out, since you are a copyright proponent, to talk a little bit about where you see that going and what the issues are?
Sure. So, yeah, we've been fighting AI watermark removal for, it seems like a long time, but it's really been about the last year and a half or so that it's really gotten prevalent. And we've, all the different platforms have enhanced their watermarks and made them more trying to make them AI proof. And there's just no getting around it. If you post images on the internet, even if they're watermarked, there are ways to remove them. It just depends on how much work you want to go through and what service you want to use. Platforms are still trying to make it a little bit more difficult. But what's been happening is that platforms and third-party vendors have been trying to come up with ways to eliminate the ability for the customer to screenshot or save the image so that then they can work on it. And each platform has different capabilities to do that and different levels of prevention. There's no 100% solution, and there never really will be unless you don't put something online, because, you can have all the screenshot protection you want where it blurs and it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. But if you take a picture of it with another phone, you now have a clean picture of the image. There's always ways around it. But everything that's done, be it a pop-up that says, hey, it's not legal to screenshot, to adding a watermark, to adding a blur, to adding something where the image blacks out when you try to save it. Each one of those deters more and more people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes some people are deterred. They just know it's not right and they don't do it. Other people, they get a pop-up or something when they log into their account, and they're like, oh, yeah, right, I'm not supposed to do that. Other people, they see the blur, they're like, yeah, I shouldn't be doing this. And so everything you do eliminates some of that, but there's no 100% solution to that at all. I didn't think it was, for me, I really didn't think it was a huge problem. I'm sure people were screenshotting, and I've seen my images posted, watermarked images posted. And I always said, they're not my customers. They're not going to buy anything. And that's how I felt. And I installed one of the third-party applications, SnapShield by Carl Bott, and I started using that in January on my Gut Photo account. And I was shocked, absolutely shocked at how much there was going on. The first few jobs that I posted with SnapShield turned on were Upward basketball jobs. This is a Christian-oriented program, very nice people. And the amount of screenshot attempts or loggings of screenshot attempts, unbelievable. Like in the first 24 hours, 30 different people, out of 150 attempted screenshots and saving of images. I could not believe it. I really couldn't. And I don't have any empirical data to say whether that type of protection has increased my business or not, but I have had
That's what I was just going to ask.
I have instances where people have done a number of screenshots, and one of the features that is now available on SnapShield is you can lock their account after X attempts. So I have mine set for 5. So after 5 attempts, boop, they can't get into their pictures anymore. And there's a big banner that says, hey, you've too many screenshot attempts, contact the photographer at this email, blah, blah, blah. So I get these emails every once in a while. I accidentally got locked out, or, that kind of thing. And I just turn them back on. And you know what happens? Almost every time they order.
Buy. Yeah.
They buy. And I look back at the customer history, and they've had a child in, the league for the last 2 or 3 or 4 years with 0 purchases ever. And now suddenly this year they buy. Mm-hmm. There's no way for me to tell if business has gone up until I go through like a season or a year of this, but it sure seems like some people are being pushed to buy rather than screenshot.
So really quickly, and not in a salesy way, can you talk about what SnapShield actually does, for those who aren't familiar with it?
Yeah, so SnapShield, Carl Bott developed it. It's designed, it can work with any platform if you can access do HTML add-ons to the site. He's a Gut Photo user, so it works perfect with Gut Photo. It may or may not work with any other platforms. I don't know that it currently does, but it works great with Gut Photo. And what it does is and it's very granular. The photographer can choose what protections they want. So desktop protection, you can turn that on, and that means if you try to do a screenshot, it blacks out the image or it blurs all the images. There's different blur options and things like that. There's also a new add-on now and I forget what it's called, but if you leave the screen, like if you have your screen up with the images displayed and you try to open a snipping tool, and then you go back and snip. If you leave, once the mouse leaves the active window, it blurs the images. So that's to deter that. But the biggest thing about SnapShield is it has mobile protection, has mobile capabilities, mobile protection, in that it can blur the images. So this is not when they do a screenshot, it's always half blurred or a third blurred or something, and he's got different choices. And then the customer has a little button that says see the other half of the picture, or see, move the blur kind of thing. And you click it and you can see the whole photo when you do that, but always part of it is blurred. So that's the deterrent for mobile, because with mobile, if you're operating through a web browser, which most online platforms do, it's very, very difficult. And if not, there are rules against detecting actions on the phone and preventing those things. If you have a separate app, like if you had a Gut Photo app or a Photo Day app, then you can do it, absolutely. But nobody wants to do that because it impacts the customer experience. They have to install an app, and that decreases sales all the time. So it's like that. But the other thing that SnapShield does is, and again, this is optional, you can pay extra to do this, is to record the activity. Mm-hmm. And then you get a report. Every time one is detected, you get a little entry in your dashboard that says this access code, or tried to do a long press or a screenshot or a desktop screenshot, and you can see the activity. That's what I cared about, was seeing whether it was just a little bit of activity or a lot.
Yeah. So Sheryl, let's jump here a little bit to you, because I didn't want to turn this into a Bob Talks snipping tool.
But didn't he just say he wouldn't talk?
That's it. I'm done. I won't get another word in.
There you go. So let's talk a little bit about your approach to this, because it's not, you're less concerned about people doing screenshots. Let's talk about why that works for your business.
I don't know if it's stick and ball versus what I do. So I say that with I don't have baseball pictures up. I don't have basketball pictures up. What I do is very specific, and the imagery is gorgeous, stunning imagery. And these moms are paying a lot of money for them to be involved in these things. Like a dance costume is so expensive. And, the cheer outfits are hundreds of dollars. So for me, I haven't found it, I should say, to deter my sales. I don't focus on it. I've spent years watching people say, so-and-so stole an image on Facebook, and I'm going to go after the mom. And I watch photographers do this all the time. And I'm always like, stop posting that. Stop publicly saying that. If people want to steal images, they will find a way. Just like Bob said, they'll take a phone, take a picture of a screen. They didn't snap anything. They will grow above this. Do I agree with Bob that when you see that pop up as a deterrent? Yeah, it is a deterrent. So maybe it gives someone a moment of conscience and they think about it. But the mom that's paying $5 on Facebook to get the watermarks removed doesn't have a conscience about it. Right. They don't care. So for me, and I know it's not apples to apples, but I would love, and I will do this for the sake of, I have a cheer team I'm going to shoot Saturday and one Sunday. I will turn it on. I'm going to do this for Bob, because my thing is, and I get a lot of people that ask me this, money, are you really not earning the same money? I have such a high buy rate and such a high average order value. It is not changing my business in any way, shape, or form. And maybe that's a whole pricing thing. But for me, I mean, are my moms going to see this? Yeah. That's always my thing. But my buy rate is so high and the average order is so high. I have not seen anything. If anything, all of my teams were higher this year than last year. Yeah. All of them. None were less money. So my thing is, if I install this, so like I said, Saturday, I have a team that I've shot every year for 25 years. Right. I kid you not. So it's apples to apples. Same amount of kids this year as last year. I would love to turn it on and see if my sales are different. Because in my mind, I don't see the value. I just said this on a webinar I was on 2 days ago. Let it go. That's my opinion. Like, people are going to steal if they want to steal. So much time and money is being put into this, and how much is it that you pay for SnapShield and all of this time and effort? And are you really earning more money because you know that someone's trying to screenshot? And Bob said that, like, some people came back after the email getting locked out. Was it enough of a difference in profit because of, and I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying that is that thing that I'm always telling people, let it go, concentrate on your business, concentrate on gorgeous imagery, and price it correctly. Yeah. So you're making enough money that you don't care.
Yeah. I had not, I wasn't really worried about it, and I installed it as a test because I'm active in the community and I want to see, is this a big problem or not? And I thought it was not going to be. And I was, like I said, I was shocked at how many. But I've not seen my revenue go down like last year compared to this year, the year before.
No.
It's all about the same. But I'm wondering, I don't know. I don't have enough data to really make a decision.
Well,
but I'm telling you, there was a lot of it going on. A lot of it.
Which I agree. I love that he says that. It was shocking. And I know Bob. And Bob, when he first installed SnapShield, he was like, hey, Sheryl, what do you think? Oh my God, look at all these people. And I'm like, let it go, Bob. He's like, no, this is so cool. Look at all these people doing it. So I appreciate that, because 90% of the people on Facebook are thinking like Bob with this. They all want protected. They're all hyper focused on watermarks and how do you change them and who's going to come up with the next watermark that's not AI removable. And it's such a big conversation. Mm-hmm. But are they making more money if the watermark's stronger? Are they making more money with SnapShield? Are they making more money by catching the perpetrators that, or were they not going to buy anyway?
Right. Yeah. Who knows?
I think it's too early to tell, to be honest. I think that they started one of those.
No, because the next thing will come out and AI is going to control that, and that SnapShield won't matter. In 6 months from now, that will be in the rearview window and it'll be somewhere. Do you remember how many watermarks we've changed and got photos since we started? And I would like to think that I don't even use the most current watermark because I found them too deterring that people couldn't see their daughter.
I was very, very happy when I installed SnapShield and saw how it worked. I backed off to a much simpler watermark.
Yeah, I used the simple one, which is what's funny.
Yeah.
I use the simple one. I don't even use the colorful one. Yeah. I don't use that.
Do you think part of this might be an ignorance on the consumer's part about copyright, what they can and can't do?
No,
I don't think so.
I think people know they can take their phone and they can snap. And unfortunately, that's where society, I mean, what did they do back in the day? I used to shoot cheer comps and we had computers. And whenever I shot teams, we had a bank of computers. We would shoot, show on site, have our paper order forms, and people would order right on site. They would view them on site. And we would print on site. It was like boom, boom, boom. Like what you see a lot of people do now, we did 20, 25 years ago for 15 years. And every 2 seconds, there's somebody going like this, trying to take a picture of that screen. We had big X marks, don't screenshot, no phones allowed. We had people standing there policing it. Right. Put your phone down, put your phone down. It's just the mentality of value. Right. What do people value? Their pictures. People are like, well, I just want them. Why can't I have them? I'm not going to pay $20.
Well, also, I think part of the challenge too, maybe we're going to divert a little bit into kind of what's happening in youth sports, is the buy-in for parents to have their children involved in youth sports is so much higher than it is with travel teams and the clubs and development leagues. And you better specialize in sport.
That's a good question.
Because you're going to go pro and you need to be playing only baseball for 12 months out of the year. And, that's really been a lot of the criticism I've seen on this, where it's now becoming expensive.
That's a great question for Bob. Bob, you do travel versus regular. Mm-hmm. There would be something where you could make a data comparison. Are your screenshots happening more in travel or less? And which one?
I've done travel teams. I've had some, but they the buy rates are much higher. The order values are much higher with travel, but it's rec. but they're paying.
So maybe that's why I don't see it as
yeah,
much.
I think so. These leagues that I'm shooting, some of these leagues they pay next to nothing to have their child in the league. It's not expensive. Maybe $50. It's nothing, and very prevalent on the screenshotting.
That was smart,
I don't think it's an affluence issue with the parents or anything. It could be, but I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's just the way they approach it.
Commitment level.
Yeah,
it's also Gary doesn't even realize how smart that was, what he just said. It is a commitment level that honestly, that to me was that like aha moment. Like, I think that's why it's not a big deal in what I do, because these people are so paying so much money. They want those gorgeous, they want to do what's behind me.
And they don't want a crappy quality, low res image that they screenshotted, because it's not a high res image that they're getting. They want the full resolution, beautiful imagery to make a canvas for their wall or something like that. And they're not going to do that with the ones when you screenshot it, remove that. It's a low res image to start with. It's for sticking on the refrigerator, printed on paper, and put it on the refrigerator. That's about it. But
it's smart. I will do it though and come back to you guys with it. I'm gonna. Just for the sake of argument, I want to, maybe I'll sit here the next time we all talked and like, Bob, I'll be shocked. But for me to not do it, maybe I need to see it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how this kind of shakes out. Like you said, because technology is not going to change. AI is only going to get better. And, Bob, you're doing composites now. At some point, maybe there'll be some AI generation in there too. Who knows?
That could be, sure. Well, I use AI backgrounds that are generated. Yeah.
Me too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Is your podcast driving real results, or does it feel like a lot of effort with very little return? If you're a podcaster using your show to grow your business, then Podcasting Amplified is the podcast for you. You may have launched expecting listeners to flock in, but instead you're stuck on a handful of downloads while juggling recording, editing, promotion, and wondering what's missing. Well, Podcasting Amplified delivers no fluff episodes packed with real-world tips and strategies on positioning, recording, growth, and turning your podcast into something that actually supports your goals. So search Podcasting Amplified on your favorite podcast app today and start building a podcast that gets results.
So let's talk a little bit, and you kind of touched on it a little earlier, about kind of the pricing thing, right? Where have you kind of seen pricing going with sort of the uncertainty in the economy going on now and everything kind of being kind of crazy? Are you seeing are you able to command what you used to command, or have you had to make adjustments? And how are you?
It doesn't affect me. I mean, like I said, I'm in a different world. So I can't speak for Bob's world. My world, it's not an issue. I charge a lot of money. I have zero kickback from the parents. Once in a while, I guess I'll hear something, but if a mom needs to spend $50, she spends $50. Like, it's still the capabilities there in my pricing, so that a mom that can't afford it, I care about. But parents are spending obscene money on pictures like crazy. And I mean, if I have a team up right now, and I think that like 70 bought, and it's at 25,000. Like, it's crazy numbers in my world. And that's cheer. That isn't even dance. Like, so in my world, it's a different mentality. They spend so much money to be involved in all-star cheer, so much money for gymnastics, so much money for dance, that they want, if you give them gorgeous imagery, they freak out and they buy it. So it hasn't been, I mean, there's this whole prepay versus not. I am dead against prepay in my world, 100% against it, because of financial versus emotional. And that's huge. In Bob's world, prepay is very big deal and very important. And Bob can speak about that. I can't, but in my world, I'm like, don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do it.
Right. And the reason I'm doing is why?
Because it forces mom into a financial mindset I want mom not to have to think about the money or deal with anything. And the first time she thinks about those pictures is when they're in front of her on a computer, edited, done, stunning. And then it's emotional. The one she sees her child, not, well, I've already spent this money, so I'll order this, or I'm just going to add this. I take all of the financials. Like someone asked me there, no one ever sees a price list of mine ever, except for when I'm teaching photographers. That's it. I don't show a price list ever to my customers. It's pure emotions. And photography is emotional. So my thing is if you focus on that, but again, I'm not stick and ball. So I
Well, let's go to the stick and ball guy.
Sure.
Do you have a different basis for like the rec leagues where you may have people who are not as financially committed? And maybe you know you can't get as much because that's the screenshot with an extra phone crowd.
My prices are nowhere near what Sheryl can command for the genre that she photographs. But like her, we have similarities. I have relatively low priced items, so mom can get away with spending, $18 and getting a product. Or they can spend a couple of $100 and get a bunch more products, or, download all and that kind of thing. I'm not going to reveal my levels compared to what Sheryl just said, but it's for stick and ball. My prices are not low. I command a good amount, and I've seen no difference in buy rates and stuff. It's hard to tell when you have different leagues and different areas, but if I haven't seen any trend down. My revenue is right where it was last year at this time, and I haven't seen any difference because of the economy. I have very rarely get any complaint about prices, and if no one's complaining about your prices, you're too low. So somebody should be complaining. Every once in a while, I had one the other day, hey, I have 3 kids. What do you do for siblings? And I'm like, oh, I have packages. Look for the ones that say sibling at the end. And those allow you to mix your siblings into one package, and that will save you money. So, we try to cater to them, but I've not seen anything there. But I have my price list addresses the people who can't afford a lot up to the people who want to spend a lot, but it doesn't go nearly as high as what Sheryl does. And it's because of what I shoot. It's the same idea, it's because of what I photograph. We, rec leagues where the kids are not, it's not a high commitment. They, soccer, they pay $50 and they need a pair of shin guards and a ball. That's it.
Right.
The parents out $75 for the season. And so, they don't want to spend $500 on pictures. They'll spend $80 or $90 or $100 or $120 on pictures, but they don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on pictures.
Right.
Travel is a different story. Right. Kids pay more to play travel baseball, travel softball. And my price list is higher for that. And I do some things differently. So, for instance, rec, we do the standard, 8x10 team photo. Everybody's stacked a team photo. Travel, no, we do a panoramic layout. So it's an 8x24 print, and we charge more for it. And it looks different, and it's nicer, and it's full length if they don't wear Crocs to the shoot, that kind of thing. So we treat them differently. The price list is higher, and they pay more, they spend more. So yeah, it just depends on the level. Yeah.
I actually have rec cheer and rec gymnastics, and I have lower pricing for them because I do believe it's a different mentality when you're investing less in what you're doing. I think that holds true. And it's not much less, but it's less.
Yeah. And in sports, typically, the more the parent spends to put the child in the sport, the more they'll spend a picture. So, for instance, soccer is a low end, and my sales per athlete photographed are lower on soccer. Football, much higher because they spend more to put the equipment on the child. If I had the luxury of shooting ice hockey or something like that, it's even higher. Ice hockey is a huge one. So the more the parent has to invest to put the child, even in rec sports, tends to track the more they'll spend on photos.
So let's talk a little bit about the sibling thing, because I find it interesting. You're seeing
it's like just unleash Sheryl today. I am dead against that.
The Sheryl Uncensored portion of the program.
It's my tough love. Why do you combine them? What the heck? No, no, and no. They don't walk into a store and get a shirt free. They don't get a kid free. You get one kid in soccer and your second kid's free. They still pay for the second kid. So
Not
I don't
always.
understand.
Not always
God.
on rec. A lot of
Okay,
times
maybe not
they
rec,
discount the
not
fee.
in mine. The kids,
Yeah.
if they have in cheer, some cheer will give them 20 off. Well, they have a 20 off coupon. Use it.
Yeah.
So all of mine have a coupon initially for 2 weeks. Use it for your siblings. But no, I do not combine galleries ever. You have to buy both. And I just saw someone, Jonathan Billings, just made this big post on Facebook about it. And I cracked up because I was like, it's exactly what I teach.
So Cheryl, when you take a picture of the two siblings together, that goes in
both galleries.
The galleries, right. Some people will separate those sibling photos into yet another gallery and try and sell them differently. I don't do
that. I want mom to buy all.
It's too much work.
And right.
Yeah,
and I'll have a mom if she wants to buy 6 digital, let's say. So my digital is 1, 6 or all. There's no like different tiers of 5,000 packages. It's very simplified. And if they want to buy 6 and they'll be like, well, can you, I have 2 moms fighting with me right now that are insisting I combine them. And why? I have all these other moms who already bought and didn't ask. So I can no longer go down that road. But you can buy 4 individual and 2 of them together for your 6 package. Then buy 4 individual of that kid and 2 together for their package because the siblings are in both.
Right.
So they still can do, I don't want to hear that they can't do that. They just want to do the buy all and get one
pay
free.
Once and get 2 kids.
Right.
Yeah.
You're getting one free.
I don't do that. Yeah.
Or they'll say my cousin. I'm like, no, like I am tough love about it in a big way because at the end of the day, I have to pay all my people.
Right.
And I'm not a one-man show. I walk in, there's 6 to 10 of us at every shoot. Like I have to pay everyone. And then it's all the after costs and your insurance and your tax and your SNAP shield and your like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things you always see the pushback because unfortunately I do spend a little bit of time looking at some of the commentary online from parents who are complaining about this stuff. And they go, well, I can take the same thing with my iPhone or whatever. And, they don't understand what the value of what they're getting with a volume photographer, professional sports photographer, and all the overhead that's involved with that. And maybe that's part of an industry issue where that's not being communicated, that, a real professional has all these other things.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a big, and I'm telling you, I have a couple moms every team I shoot that fight with me about this. So it's an issue for me. I just stay the course.
What are they fighting?
I'm really sorry. They want me to
thing?
combine their kids.
Yeah.
Because I used to. In the beginning, I used to combine siblings all the time. Right. And then I realized that I was cheating myself as well as the mom who didn't have siblings was getting mad. And I just had to straight across the board just say no.
Yeah. Well, part of it too.
And it hasn't affected me, like as far as sales go, because I mean that when I look at numbers, it hasn't like changed anything. Ultimately, that mom could buy all of one and one of another. I mean,
right. And then she's picking a favorite kid. She doesn't want to do that.
Right. They just figure, I was joking, they just figure that I'll drink a couple glasses of wine and give in. But
well, it's quite possible, right?
But no.
So when we're looking at kind of what's going on in the near future, near term, what are you seeing is happening in the volume space? Because right now in the school side, of course, there's the whole controversy with Lincoln, which we've already agreed we're not getting into, but what the pushback on that I've been seeing is that a lot of the concern the industry has on that is the schools saying, we're just going to take the pictures ourselves. We won't even use a photographer. Are you guys running into it all? Any people who start to say, hey, maybe the assistant coach can take the picture? or we've got an involved mom who can do it, or their manager or something. Because I'm starting to see some of that in the marketplace, where people are getting kind of like squirrely about engaging a professional.
I would think in Bob's world more than mine. I don't think it's a thing in my world.
I haven't seen it in the stick and ball sports world at all yet. Not to say it couldn't happen. In fact, I've worked on leagues that never did photos. They just didn't bother and gotten them to do photos. So, I haven't
That's
seen
good.
it, and it certainly could happen. Absolutely could, but I haven't seen that yet.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We were hiring when we were making 50 to 100K monthly losses.
And why? Welcome to episode 1.
I can't think of a single founder who's been around for a decent amount of time in business who hasn't had their tunnel of year. This was that year. We're going to be okay, yeah, Sherry? Some are going to hear this and think, you TDP. But hear me out. You only have to do the math to understand that very soon we were $500,000 down.
Okay.
I haven't. I run into the dance teacher that wants to take her own pictures because they want the profit for the dance studio, things like that. But I shouldn't say I run into it. I've heard of that, but I haven't. It hasn't been a thing.
I will say I've had experiences where a league has, I've had a league for a few years and then they say, we're going to go in a different direction. And, 80% of the time after that first year of going in a different direction, they come back because what they had is they had someone more local or a mom or something who thought they could do it. And maybe they didn't do a good job. They don't realize with volume photography, it's about, for my stick and ball, it's like 5% photography and 95% business and customer service and taking orders and delivering orders. Cheryl's photography count is a little higher, I think. So they don't realize the amount of work. I had one league that did that, and I saw the photos that were delivered 6 weeks after their photo day. Yeah, they're already booked back with me, already booked for the fall. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, they learn.
Yeah, are you even getting, thinking of your operations, is there really room for growth? Unless you want to start adding multiple staff, which again is very hard, very difficult these days, adding people who are reliant
Room to
show up and
grow.
know what they're doing.
Like room to grow as far as
Bringing on more customers, right? Bringing on more.
I think, for me, I am always looking to evolve and change and grow. So what's the next thing? So for me, it was, we're going to add headshots. Then we're going to do that at every shoot. And then it was, we're going to add gels, and then we're going to add smoke, and then we're going to add that. So I'm always looking for what's the next thing to keep my customers happy and alive. But fortunately for me, their dance outfits change every year.
Right.
So, or cheer changes. So mom wants to see the growth. It's like that school picture mentality. Whether you like it or not, mom wants a picture of that kid every year so they can have it when they get married or, have their own kids. Or so I think for us, for me, it's the growth is always there. And now I've grown to the point where I have teams of people so I could send them without me and we could hit 2 instead of 1 and things like that.
Right.
I was going to say, I'm a little bit the opposite of that. It's just me, and I have no desire to grow to be able to have 2 stations or send 10 people other places. I'm too old for that stress. So I like to live my life as stress-free as possible. So it's just me. And so I don't, if the league is too big, I'll tell them right out, it's too many kids. So I don't have time for that. I can't do that in one day like you want. So we're not going to take it. That's my luxury. Now, if I wanted to grow, yeah, I could grow. I absolutely could grow. I could put the other folks in my area out of business pretty quickly, I think, because I get calls all the time for leagues wanting to sign with me. I had one this morning, not the county south, but it's parks and rec stuff. It's soccer and some baseball and some softball. And I'm like, dude, I got no time in the spring. I literally can't. It's not that I can't. I don't want to add any more business this spring. So they'll go with someone else, which is fine. And I always,
but isn't that the luxury of all of us to say no?
Yes. And I constantly, every year, I reevaluate every account I have. And I put down the amount of revenue I made per photographed athlete, not order values or how many bought. I don't care about that. I care if 200 kids came in front of my camera, how much did I make on each child, whether they bought or not? So it's the total gross divided by the kids. That's what I care about. Yeah. And that's what I look at, and I rank order them.
Smart.
And I decide I'm not going to service this one anymore. We're not going to service this one anymore, because there's always other leagues out there that are in my size demographic that I'm looking for numbers of kids, and I will target them. So I will take a soccer league and cut them out and replace them with the softball league any day, because I know I'll make more money. A baseball league, a football league.
For the same number of people.
Yeah, for the same number of people. Absolutely. Yeah, the different.
My good friend Mark Humberding.
It's a big thing. I have you be shocked.
That's what he does. He does revenue per head photograph.
Yeah, that's the only thing that matters. All these people, my average order value is $82. So's mine. But it doesn't matter. It's how much did you make for every child you photographed? Now, if you only photograph the ones that buy, like if you do a prepay and you only photograph the ones that buy, that's great. You're probably going to have a really high. But in general, you're photographing everybody if you're not doing prepay. And what matters is how much you make per head.
I agree.
That's the important thing.
And I always stress with people, I'm the same way. Like, I'll have another cheer team that's this many kids and it's this much, or cheer team with that many kids and it's this much. So I'm like Bob, I try to kind of clear through but I shoot a lot less than people think out of choice. Same, just as Bob. Too. I'm too old. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to work to death.
Right.
And both of us teach a lot. So we're traveling and teaching and all of that. So for me, I shoot less now than I ever did, but I make more money now than I ever did. So it's, for some reason, the formulas, the pricing, the imagery, whatever have you, that's what's nice about being online, is you can make more money than you were.
Right.
And I don't add new ones either, unless it's like one I really wanted for some reason. I'm very choosy.
So
Same.
When you go to SPAC every year, it seems like they're booming and they're growing. And it seems like, I think this year, like 38% of their audience was new, just brand new people who never.
Yeah.
What would you advise someone who's getting into your particular genres, right? Stick and ball or
run,
something like that? Because I'm sure you see still when you do workshops and things. Like, do you ever come across people and go, this person is the next rock star, or this person isn't going to be here next because they're terrible? And
all the time. Yeah. I know for me, in my world, it's imagery based. You have to know how to shoot a gorgeous image. It's not just point and shoot. So you have to understand movement. And I get many people that their imagery is gorgeous. They just have no systems, no business head, and they can't understand what we do is not portrait photography. What we do is a business, and your systems and the business side of it are almost more important than anything else to be successful. So you can't just take a camera and shoot.
Absolutely.
Wow, does Bob disagree with me?
Well, it's a little bit less, I think, for the stick and ball. The imagery is important. Obviously, it's the most important thing, but it's not. It's more easier. The business. Right. Yes, it's easier. And especially for composite, because everything's locked down. There's no decisions to be made. If you're doing traditional sports photography on a field with the sun and changing and clouds, that you better be a photographer to do that well. But for me, I really don't. You don't have to be. But what I always advise people, I say, one, if I meet them at SPAC, I'm like, you've already done the first best step. You came to a conference to learn and talk to people. It's the people that show up online and say, I don't have time to go to a conference. I can't go to a conference. I have too many kids. I can't do this. I can't afford. Those are the people that frustrate me, because they're trying to do Facebook University, and it is not the way to learn this stuff. You have to talk one-on-one and attend classes and learn the business side. They might be great photographers, It's all business, processes, and workflow. That's what I excel at, and I have it dialed in. I'm running PicSnub right over here on this computer. I got 6,000 more images to go, another 5.5 hours, but that's my high school that I shot yesterday and the day before, and it's running now. It'll be done. It'll be posted for sale tomorrow. I might wait till Monday to put it up, but it's you have to have your efficiency, your processes, your workflow. It's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you just sit there and wallow in editing. I'm not editing. It's the computer's doing the work for me. I don't have to do anything.
I found it interesting you mentioned
I agree.
that Facebook University thing, right? Because, there is a lot of that where if you look through the forums, there's clearly people who, think they know it all. They're giving terrible advice to other people.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
Yeah, it's horrific to see.
Yeah. I try to redirect some of that, but sometimes I just look at it, I shake my head, I'm like, no, not even going down this one, not even going to touch this one. But
or you have someone that you like, they go to every single person they can to ask the same question.
And then
I'm like,
don't take
what are you
anyone's
doing?
advice
Don't
take anyone's advice. Then do it a different way. They do it a different way and then complain when it didn't work and blame the system, the workflow, the process instead of themselves.
Right.
Not my fault.
There's a lot of that.
My platform failed, or this didn't work, or that. No, you didn't listen to
It's
people.
a hard business. It's not, people think they can just jump in. You have to learn. You have to, like he said, do the workshops, get a mentor, go to the conferences. We both did it. We both went to so many conferences and workshops, and you can't just walk in and watch one speaker talk one time and then you've got it.
Well, if they go to Sheryl, if they go to yours, I've seen you do
it. Takes more than that. But I always laugh about it because I'm like, your imagery's gorgeous. And they're like, but I'm like, because you're not listening. It's
Sheryl,
what Bob said. Systems. And everything that Bob just talked about is systems. System of how he shoots, system of how he edits, system how it goes online, systems of your setup.
Pose choices, pose orders, everything. Everything.
Is a business.
Where the poser stands in relation to the athlete, right side or left side. Which way are they going to turn? Where are you going to have to give them the ball? It's every little step saved is speed. And it's all, for me, stick a ball, it's all about speed. So I'm 35 to 45 seconds with an athlete, and we're doing 4 poses plus a team pose. It's fast.
Someone just asked me this 2 days ago on the webinar, and they were like, well, how long is a kid in front of you? Like each child with the imagery you put out, are they in front of you a half an hour, an hour? I'm like, I'm a portrait photographer. No, I'm not. I'm a volume photographer. That dancer's in front of me 2.5 minutes, but the imagery they're given looks like they've been with me for hours. And that's the difference of and volume to portrait.
Yeah.
And I think portrait photographers can dip their toe into volume and be so successful if they're open to the business and the systems, because they've already got the imagery.
Right.
It's learning the business.
Yeah. Sheryl,
neither one of us got here.
Are you going to try and, I'm just curious after listening to Sheryl, are you going to work in some silhouettes maybe in one of those 4 poses? Can you throw in a silhouette of them?
He does. He does.
Occasionally. I occasionally do for stick and ball. Yeah. For travel, not for rec. There's no time.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, because I've seen Cheryl's silhouette lighting setup and demo, and it's quite a thing.
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah.
It's super, especially now, like you said, with evolution, we used to have to unplug a light and plug it back in. Then it was turn a light on and off. Then triggers happen. Then, for me now with creative masking, it just boom, boom, boom. I don't have to do anything. I no longer have to, manipulate while I'm shooting. So most kids are in front of me a lot less time nowadays, but 2.5 minutes is kind of what I tell people, the sweet spot.
One of the last things that I want to talk about is there's always this sort of thing in the Vine community where, if we could just get video involved, could make so much more money, right? If we could just sell a video clip or something. Is that even part of your equation at all?
No, not at all.
No.
That's a social media thing. I think.
Or if you're doing like a media day for some teams,
Yeah.
a real media day, fog, gels, no fire, no fire, but that sort of thing, then video might absolutely be a good addition, but not for what I do.
That.
Not for what I do.
Not for what I do.
And not for what Sheryl's. And again, we're shooting composite, so we're on a white highlight background. It's not very captivating to see the picture out of camera or what's going on. But if you were doing smoke and gels and all that stuff, I think then the video has value. But
I think the video is valuable for, like I said, social media.
Oh yeah.
Like
absolutely.
that's where parents want it and where they see it. But I don't.
They want it, but they won't pay for it.
Well, that was my point. That's where I was getting to. No one's come up, in my opinion, that I've seen yet, a video product for volume or sport that's monetizable.
Right.
You
won't get anybody to pay for it.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I remember cheer comps, all the people in the audiences with their iPads videoing the cheer routine. Mm-hmm. And then back in the day, there would be a video guy videoing the cheer routine. I'm like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like, you have an audience filled that's videoing, and the video at that point, it's not like they're getting some crazy video.
Right. It's just a very static performance.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's a kind of a different market. But
that's different. I think that's a portrait, a wedding, something like that. I don't think it falls into our volume world.
Right. But the reason why I ask is because people are still trying. Yeah. Right? And it's maybe someone will unlock that, right? Maybe there is. I don't know. But they got to they got to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They got to find a way to monetize.
Too many photographers they give too much away, and they don't charge what they should for what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you're right. See, that was good, Bob.
Sheryl, we should do like a workshop or something to teach all this stuff. Don't you think?
Together. I think so.
It'd be a good idea.
Where would you do this workshop?
It's right here.
There you go.
It's in July. And they get me and Bob, and I'm going to make Bob dresses.
In a tutu?
No. Lucienne.
Ricky, there you go.
Yeah. I don't have the hair.
We'll get you a wig.
Yeah.
So listen, where can people either see you guys speak next? Because I know at least one of you has a speaking gig coming up. Or reach out more, or just be in touch with you to learn more about the things you do. Because you guys are the go-to for many people on how to run their business.
Well, if anyone's going to Shutterfest, they can sign up for my class, and it's all about headshots and how I do creative masking and the gels and the bubbles and all the fun stuff, and turn a simple headshot into stunning and so easy. I kid you not. I show my headshots all the time at trade shows. It's so simplistic and easy to add that. So even for the portrait person, things like that. So that's next. And then Bob and I are at Goth Photo Camp together. Yes. That is in June.
Yeah.
And then in July, we'll be here together for our workshop. And then you get like literally hours on end with Bob and hours on end with me. Bob will be teaching a bunch of different stuff this year.
That's what, three days, 2.5 days, 3 days?
It's going to be 3 days this time. We're adding that Friday in because everyone came in on Thursday night anyway. So they'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. And this will be like a hands-on workshop. Is it limited to
hands-on?
People?
Hands-on. We limit the amount of people. They actually get to shoot and do all the thing. Bob teaches, I think, are you going to teach PixNub again? And
I'll teach whatever you order me to teach. But yes, I'd love to teach PixNub.
Bob literally will be like, Sheryl told me not to talk about this, but like I can't hear him in the other room. And then he'll teach it. He teaches his light meter.
Yes, light metering, workflow, efficiency. It's all about that. It's all about that.
I let Bob do whatever Bob wants.
Yeah. So yeah, like Sheryl said, I'll be at summer camp and at her workshop in July, and then SPAC again in January, I'm sure. So it's always love going there. and doing that stuff. I love teaching, and I really enjoy it.
It's
So
evident.
yeah.
Me too.
Both of you do your thing. It's very evident.
Yeah.
You love sharing your knowledge, and that's one of the great things about the industry is that people want to share what they do.
I do have
And we
one.
are a good team.
Yeah. And I have one groundbreaking announcement that I just found out about. And I'm sure by the time this podcast airs, people will know about this, but I can at least release it now. I just got the email from Gutphoto that they are partnering with Carl Bott for SnapShield to integrate it onto the Gutphoto platform. And I think that's huge. Gutphoto has their own desktop protection, screenshot protection for desktop only, but most of the screenshot attempts come from mobile, about 3/4 in my account. And Carl's does have deterrence for mobile plus tracking. I think it's a great decision for them to, rather than trying to build their own solution.
I do too.
Just partner and turnkey. Carl's a big user of Gutphoto and a supporter of Gutphoto, so it's a perfect marriage. I congratulate Carl on the deal, and I'm anxious to see it rolled out. They say they're going to roll it out in the spring season, so great. I think this is just great. And I
there
think
you
that,
go, Gary.
And I think
Carl
that
another guest.
It puts them ahead of, I think, any other platform as far as capability to mitigate screenshots.
Until something else comes out too.
Yes, of course. For now.
But hopefully Carl will be forward thinking enough if he did this that he'll be ahead of what that is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I will, as all of you are witnessing today, I will put it in place I have 2 teams this weekend. I'll put it in. And I've shot both these teams, I'm telling you, 20 years plus. So
it'd be interesting. Yeah,
and I will.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in your genre, in your world.
Yeah,
as far as that.
I want to see if that's. I usually don't think about it, so
I didn't either.
Something you might want to mention in summer camp at Gutphoto.
Say that again.
That might be something you want to mention at Gutphoto summer camp. If you'll
the results of that, I'm sure there'll be sessions on.
That's a good idea.
Screenshot protection, and I think having real world empirical data is important to show the scope of the problem, and it would be great if we could show increased or decreased sales due to it or due to protection.
Right.
I don't know that we're there yet, but
or even just people in my world. Trust me, those moms will bitch.
Yeah.
If they've screenshotted and it got blurry, and I'll be the first to hear about it.
Yeah.
So I will definitely report back to you guys on.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I'm interested to see, because I always hear Bob, we talk about it a lot, him and I, and always be like, I was shocked. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it. Bob's like, seriously. And I'm like, no. So giving in. Yeah. Because I feel like I can't knowledgeably talk about it without trying it. So
that's why I did it, and now
you're a proponent of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on as a guest on your podcast. Because that's what it felt like.
We'll invite you back.
Sure.
So, Bob, real quick, where can people reach you directly to get more information about all the things you do?
I'm in the Facebook groups. You can message me on Facebook. That's a good way. That usually works. If you've ever seen me speak, I've posted my link tree. It's got my phone number and my email. You're welcome to reach out those ways too. Leave a voicemail because it probably won't pick up. But Facebook Messenger actually works pretty darn well, and most people can get to me through a group there. Yeah.
And sure,
or tag me in a comment if you want an input from me. So yeah.
And
I was going to say the same thing.
Out to you.
We're both on Facebook. We're both in the Gutphoto group. I have my own Facebook group. It's called Mastering Cheer, Dance, and Gymnastic Photography. So come join. That's an easy way to find me. Instagram, Sheryl Z Photo. That's always an easy way to find me. Things like that. And I try to keep my Instagram to photographers as best I can.
Yep.
I don't know that that's a thing, but I try. So that's another good way. And the same thing, I have a link tree. If you go to, it's SherylZEducation.com. And in there is the links to everything. And it'll have the link to which Bob will have the link also to the workshop. And we'll start posting that soon, I would say, really soon.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate your time. Appreciate the insight and everything you've been able to share. And look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you for listening to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. Read more great stories and sign up for the newsletter at www.thedeadpixelssociety.com.